Common Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Haas. Here. Lorik.
Here.
Ritz. Here. Marshall. Here. Gale.
Here.
And Alderman Guzikowski is excused.
Everybody, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Lisa, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That will get us to item 3. It's the approval of minutes of July the 21st, 2026. I'll give you a moment to take a look. Are satisfied? There's no discussion, errors, corrections, omissions. Motion, please.
Haas moves to approve minutes from 7/21/26.
Work seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz. Aye. Marshall. Aye. Gale.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
And item 4 is under Public Works and Utility. We have consideration of a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of up to $56,934,626 for Waterworks Systems revenue bonds. This is Series 2026, and providing other details and covenants with respect thereunto and approval of related financial assistance agreements. With us is Brian Johnston from our water utility. Welcome, Brian.
Good evening. Brian Johnston, Director of Utilities. Max will help out too if there's any technical questions on the financing side of it. But this is for our safe drinking water loan that we have for the water treatment plant. So just under $57 million for the construction of the new intermediate pump station, high lift pump station, UV, and chlorine contact tank at the treatment plant. This will give us a 2.35% interest rate on the loan that we're receiving. So it's a low interest rate loan through the DNR that we received. Has our payback schedule in there too. Starting in 2029, we start our payments back and loan payments, completion of the project. So if there's any questions on the loan application, I'd be happy to answer them.
Great, thank you, Brian. Council, questions for Brian? Comments?
How much of the 56 million?
All of it. Yeah. Our estimate now is just over $57 million for the project. Construction alone is just under $50 million. And then we have our design, construction, and other fees throughout the project. So.
Other questions, concerns? Okay, hearing none, motion please.
Marshall moves to adopt resolution number 12715-081826, a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of up to $56,934,626 for the Waterworks System Revenue Bond Series and providing for all other details and covenants with respect thereto and approval of related financial assistance agreement.
Haas seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Item 5 is our annual tax increment district TID review presentation, and we have Max tonight to bring it all in perspective.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Max Gagan, Deputy City Administrator and Finance Officer. So before you is our annual tax increment district review. We do this annually before the Common Council as well as the Joint Review Board, which is the representatives from the various taxing jurisdictions who are partners in our tax increment districts. This is a really good time to do it because we just received certified values as of January 1st of 2026. So the presentation outline, just do an overview and an understanding of tax increment financing. I'll talk a little bit about the 12% test. So statutorily, we can only have 12% of the community's value within TIDS. We'll talk about the status of Oak Creek's TIDS and then answer any questions you may have. So a key distinction is there's what is called TIF, or tax increment financing, versus TID, which is a tax increment district. And really the difference between the two is TIF is the economic development tool or the financing mechanism that we utilize to expand the tax base, whereas a TID or a tax increment district is the geographic area where the TIF is available. So if you think about it, the TID is kind of more spatial, it's a map, locational, and then the TIF is the additional money within that area where the investments are made. So this slide just shows tax increment districts by the numbers. So you can see as of earlier this year, there are about 1,420 TIDs in Wisconsin and 141 in Milwaukee County. All cities in Milwaukee County have a TID, and the only one who doesn't, there's one village of Fox Point, which is primarily residential, that does not. You can see as of earlier this year, the equalized value of all active TIDs in Wisconsin was $68.5 billion, pretty significant. And tax increment financing through TIDs is really the only meaningful tool that a municipality in Wisconsin has to engage in economic development. So understanding the financing mechanisms, so a tax increment district has a base value when it's created, and that's the equalized value of the person or the real property within the TID on the valuation date. And then the increment is the value that's generated above the base. So in this example, if you had a $20 million property, the full tax revenue is $330,000, and the city would keep about $105,000. But if this property was in a TID, the city or the TID would keep the full tax revenue to help pay for any reinvestments in that area. And the TID terminates once all the taxing jurisdictions and they get the higher tax revenue. So here's a graphic showing it. You can see at the far left side, you have the TID's base value. So when it's created, and you can see each of the taxing jurisdictions have a base amount of taxes collected. And then when investments are made within the TID and the value appreciates, property values appreciate, you can see there's additional tax revenue collected. And then when the TID is terminated, all of the taxing jurisdictions receive additional tax dollars. So I guess the best way to think about it, this is all the taxing jurisdictions really coming together and saying we want to make investments in certain areas of our community in order to realize growth in property taxes long term. So just looking at the history of Oak Creek's TIDs, so we've had 8 TIDs that have closed early. You can see TIDs 1 through 7 and then TID 9. And you can see the value that they've generated. So TID 1 was our largest district at 134 million increment. You can see kind of going on from there. The next largest being, or actually the largest was TID 7 at 163 million. Next, so one of the things we'd like to just apprise the council and community about is that a lot of the general obligation debt in the community is actually tied to a TID. Again, these are areas where we need to make significant public investments in order to spur economic development. So you can see from this chart about 78% of all debt, general obligation debt for Oak Creek is located within a TID. And essentially the new properties or developments that occur in that district are paying property taxes now that then services any debt service for public investments. As I alluded to earlier, there is what is called the 12% test. So essentially, equalized value of new or amended TIDs plus the value increment of all existing TIDs can exceed 12%. So again, this is a way for the state to limit that too much of your community doesn't lie within a TID district. You can see the city's equalized value is $6.85 billion as of earlier this year. So for our 12% test, we would have to have 822 million can only be in a TID district. Otherwise, we can't create any new districts. You can see that we're at about 896 million at the bottom, so we're right at 13%. One of the things that I've made the common council aware is that, it's going to take some time for us to get under 12%, but looking at it closer, it looks like if you were to actually close TID number 8, we would get under. So we're seeing that time frame push up a little bit with that district actually having a mandatory termination date in Then lastly, just a status of the Oak Creek TIDs. So here's a map showing where they're all located within the community. And I'll just talk about each one and kind of give a overview of what's happening and what we should expect. So this is just a high-level snapshot showing the changes in values for each of the active TIDs in Oak Creek. You can see they all gained in value except two. One is TID number 10, and that's located on Powell on the north side of the community, and TID number 14 as well. But overall, the property values within TIDs increased 5.6%. So TID number 8 is our Oakview Business Park. So this is located primarily on the southwest corner of Howell Avenue and Oakwood Road. This TID was created in 2009. Has a mandatory termination date in 2029, so it's a 20-year district, mixed use. Mostly developed in its past expenditure period, so we can't enter into any new expenditures. We're kind of just waiting and paying off debt service with the additional tax revenue. But you can see it's been pretty successful. It's increased in value $161 million, and that amount's going to go up probably another 20 to 30 million once the Dursey facilities built on that hard corner of Powell and Oakwood Road. It has a pretty small fund balance, and it still has about $4 million worth of debt and one active agreement. So this is one where we're paying some debt service. We have one active pay-go agreement, and it will terminate in 2029. TID number 10, this is where the former Master Lock property is located. So this TID was created in 2010. It has a mandatory termination date in 2030, so a 20-year district, mixed use. There is remaining acreage to be developed specifically on in the northern part of the district, which is the southeast corner of Howell and College Avenue. If you recall, the city did acquire most of this property earlier this year for future development, and the reason for that is with this district's termination or expiration date for expenditures lapsing, we thought it was prudent to have that for future development if we couldn't publicly incent it. You can see increment about $22 million, no debt, small fund balance, but something we'll certainly talk about more at budget time is we're going to have some financial challenges here. The former Master Lock property is sold, which is and it saw a decrease in its valuation, and we'll talk through that at budget. TID number 11, Drexel Town Square, so where we're at today. That district was created in 2012. Mandatory termination date in 2032. Most of it has been developed. There's about 10 acres undeveloped, but really only 3 parcels at this time. You can see increment of $242 million, so it's our largest district by and far, and it's been very successful. Very strong fund balance. It has about $30 million worth of debt, so if you think about what this property looked like 15, 20 years ago, and what it is today, that takes significant public investment to get there, whether that's clearing the site, putting in utilities, putting in public roads, and then providing developer incentives. So, and there are 9 active agreements. TID number 12 is what is referred to the IKEA TID. So this is located off Drexel Avenue and the interstate. Kind of going through the middle of it. On the left side is the IKEA parcel, and some other development on the right side. Created in 2016, termination date in 2036. There are about 25 acres to be developed. Very strong increment, about 200 million. Getting there, pretty close. Good healthy fund balance is 1.1 million. It does have a little bit of debt. And if you recall, the Common Council did authorize purchasing of this property here from Northwestern Mutual a few meetings ago. So we'll be closing on that shortly. And again, that's for future development in front of IKEA. TID number 13 is our Lakefront District. So this was created in 2017. And this has a termination date in 2044. So a 27-year runway. This is considered a blighted district, given the heavy manufacturing uses that were there previously. Significant acres to be developed, about 200. It has increment of about 81 million, so it's still growing. We do have the Lakeshore Commons development occurring, so that will be increasing the next few years. Has a fund balance about $650,000, and it does have about $30 million worth of debt, so pretty significant there. We do have some financial development agreements for the Lakeshore Commons projects in this area, and then the other significant portion of that it relates to the Lakefront Bluff revetment and stabilization project, and this district's actually receiving about $21 million in donations from 4 other districts. TID number 14, so this is at 6th Street in Rawson, so it's a single parcel district created in 2018, and it was really to take an environmentally challenged property and turn it into a light industrial building on this property. It is now developed, so we're really just in a position where we're paying off some development infrastructure through debt service and then a pay-go payment as well, but don't expect too much activity in this district given its limited size. TID number 15, so this is across the street, Drexel Avenue and 6th Street. So this is a 3 parcel district created in 2018, primarily to help redevelop that hard corner of Drexel Avenue and 6th Street, which is now where the Aldi is located, as well as the other multi-tenant commercial. Increment about $7 million, very small fund balance. And the developer incentive on this one actually is paid off next year. So we'll talk a little bit more about this district on a later item. Lastly, TID number 16, so this is Ryan Business Park. So this is located near the interstate, Ryan Road and 13th Street. This is where the Amazon Fulfillment Center is located. Created in 2018, has a termination date of 2038. There is some remaining acreage to be developed, about 30 acres. Of that, the city owns this northwest parcel. That's about 13 acres. We purchased that about 3 years ago. Increment about $180 million, so pretty significant. Mostly the Amazon Fulfillment Center property has very strong fund balance, and it is paying off pay-go payments that were to upsize all the infrastructure really on Ryan Road and the interstate and 13th Street to help facilitate the development of the fulfillment center. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Great, thank you, Max. Questions, comments from Max? Max, thank you very much. Very thorough. This is probably one of the most misunderstood concepts in the city all the way around is TIF and the TIF financing. Most people think that it's a tax-free giveaway. It's far from that. I think Max said it early in his presentation. It is really our only tool for development to attract people here to do it. And the city of Oak Creek's been very transparent and very well managed with their TIFs as well. And I know he alluded to it in TIF 13 down at the lake. Environmentally, it needed so much remediation and money put into it that other TIFs were able overperforming, and they could pay into that to help accelerate that cleanup and development. So we're in a really good position with our TIFs. Again, we're over that 12% rule, but the way we're managing things, I think we'll be in a good position earlier than we think as we get development at IKEA and some of the other ones going forward. So, anything, Ken?
Well, appreciate the extensive management, obviously. This very necessary, very intricate part of our process here. So your leadership is greatly valued.
Appreciate it. Okay. No action is needed then on 5 if there's no further discussion. We will go on to administration and item 6, and this is consideration of a motion to accept the community partnership agreement between the city of Oak Creek and Bucky's Oak Creek.
I'll take that one, Mayor.
Okay. Andrew?
Thanks, Mayor. Before you and the Common Council is that community partnership agreement with Bucky's. And just by way of background, this is a little bit of a unique agreement for us. The city of Oak Creek is not providing any tax increment financing. This property is not located in a tax increment district. is not providing any other incentives for Buc-ee's to come to the community. And Buc-ee's is also paying for their own infrastructure work to bring this development in the right way into the community, consistent with a TIA approved by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. What this agreement does is actually outlines construction deadlines, review deadlines for the city, construction deadlines for Buc-ee's. And it also outlines a contribution Buc-ee's is willing to make on a one-time basis of $350,000 to a community of the community's choosing, the council's choosing. $15,000 annually in contributions to our social events, our gatherings, the way we bring the community together. This is also unique in that we are looking to have a Visit Oak Creek kiosk in the store too. So part of the agreement here outlines a space in the store for the city to spread the word of other opportunities to spend time in the community while they're here, visit our local businesses, our small businesses, and see what else Oak Creek has to offer. In addition to the contributions Buc-ee's will be making, as I mentioned, the city will be reviewing, have review timelines to keep the construction project on track. And we will also support the Buc-ee's request to the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to change the name of Elm Road, a small segment of Elm Road. I don't believe with any known addresses on it, no buildings yet. Rename that Buc-ee's Boulevard. So all in all, a unique agreement. I think it's a recognition of our limited taxation options, if you will, to really quantify Buc-ee's. They'll be contributing obviously property taxes and a beautiful investment, a big investment in the community. But there certainly is other ways they wanted to bring themselves into the community in the right way and make a big splash. And I think this is them following through on those good faith efforts to really bring something special into the community and follow up on those previous discussions about this agreement. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, Council.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew, questions concerning the agreement for Andrew or anyone else?
Hey, did we hear anything from our neighbors to the west? Any concern? Anything?
No, I did not. And over the course of the summer, I did run across Mayor Nelson and a few council members, and no mention of anything. Would like to compliment Andrew on this. This agreement is a unique agreement. It does bring some value to the city of Oak Creek because we will get property tax on Buc-ee's. And that's the only way the city can generate its revenue is really through property tax. We don't get sales tax, we don't get income tax, and other revenues that other taxing jurisdictions such as the state and the county get. So for them coming in, we did want them to benefit the community in some way, shape, or form. Buc-ee's has been a good partner going forward with, the ongoing $15,000, the initial $350 going forward, and even more importantly is our presence within the store. I think that says a lot because that's in perpetuity. As the city grows and changes to get information out to visitors, that can help spur other local businesses as well. There's no further discussion. I'll call for a motion.
Marshall moves to make a motion to accept the community partnership agreement between the City of Oak Creek and Buc-ee's Oak Creek LLC.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas. Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Item 7 is consideration of a motion to award the RFP for an organizational and operational assessment of multi-city functions to MGT Impact Solutions LLC in the amount not to exceed $75,000. And I'll turn that over to Administrator Vickers.
Thank you, Mayor. For the Common Council's consideration is an organizational and operational assessment, a proposal, an award of an RFP that the city staff issued for some management consulting work. As you've seen in the staff report, and as you just know and guide every day, the city is undergoing a lot of change, a lot of growth. We're growing, and it's a really interesting chapter in the city's history. One of the direct impacts to the city organization in terms of capacity when we have all of this building activity is our development services, which includes inspections, engineering, our admin support group, and our community planning team, really downstairs of City Hall back here, really is directly impacted by all of the growth and building activity on a daily basis. And with also a very ambitious, aspirational strategic plan this council has for the community, the investments you're making in our own public projects such as the Fire Station 2, the lakefront, additional roads for stormwater and additional monies for roads and stormwater annually. We want to make sure as a staff that we're properly situated, properly organized, our workflows can be audited and maybe ironed out a little bit, just so we make sure as a city staff we're delivering on those taxpayer dollars, those capital investments, and continuing to serve our external stakeholders from a permit perspective and a general service perspective at City Hall. So what this does is we went out, we gathered 4 proposals from qualified management consulting firms. They submitted on the draft scoping document that's also before you in your packet. You see 4 respondents. There were 4 respondents to the proposals. And based on a recommendation from an internal city team that reviewed all of those, the staff is pleased to recommend MGT for that work this evening. Be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you, Andrew. Council, questions, comments? Once again, just striving to be as efficient as we can be in investing back in our most precious assets, and that's our employees. Make sure they're highly trained. It may look like it's simple here as we go through this. Let me tell you, it's incredibly complicated at City Hall, what they have to go through to get these agendas right, from engineering to the time somebody comes in, till the time the project even breaks ground or finishes. There are just multiple people involved in the process. This will help improve efficiency of it. Lisa?
I have a question. What's the time frame?
So as part of our process, we actually had one-on-one interviews with all of these applicants or potential consultants to gauge what a time frame would be. We had initially hoped a 12 to 15 week assessment, but we told each of them to really put back to us what was reasonable for them. We had some flexibility. So this is a 20-week engagement. So we're probably beginning implementation of any recommendations or best practices that come out of this in the first quarter of 2028.
And would they present to
Or,
us
excuse me,
after
2027.
27? Will they present to us here at county council with their
Sure.
plan? Okay,
Or Personnel and Finance Committee too, it might be a venue for that.
perfect. Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, comments?
You know, we will realize some wage savings right now with some vacancies in the engineering department specifically. A combination of that, and we have a strategic action plan fund, which really fall in line with several goals in the SAP to use that fund for that. So cash on hand, generally speaking, or we'll use some capacity that we know we won't use in this year's annual budget.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. Motion, please.
I'll move to award the RFP for an organizational and operational assessment to MGT Impact Solutions LLC in the amount not to exceed $75,000.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Haas. Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz. Marshall.
Aye.
Item 8 is community development, and it's consideration of a resolution approving a project plan amendment number 4 for tax incremental district number 11, City of Oak Creek in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. Christie, you got it?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. I will be, Max and I are doing a dual presentation on this, so we'll be toggling back and forth between the two of us. To start, items 8, 9, and 10 on the agenda before you this evening are regarding 3 different TIF district amendments. They are for TID number 11, number 12, and number 15. So we'll start with agenda item number 8. All 3 together have gone through this time frame before you. They were introduced to the Joint Review Board on July 14th. We did hold a public hearing as required by state statutes before the Plan Commission on July 28th. This evening, it's before the Common Council for consideration, 3 different resolutions. And then next week, the Joint Review Board meeting is scheduled on the 25th, and they also would need to adopt a resolution for each TIF amendment. So we'll start with TID number 11, which is Drexel Town Square, where we are sitting here this evening. Max had actually just gone over this slide when he did his annual TID report, so we don't need to dive into the details again, but as he had mentioned, the termination date for the Drexel Town Square TID is in April of 2032, has a fund balance of 2.5 million and geo debt of roughly 29 million. So there have been 3 amendments adopted by the city so far for this TID, and this is amendment number 4 proposed before you this evening. What's to be considered is a budget amendment. We're not impacting or changing the boundaries, and revised cost categories, which include land acquisition. They were not in the original TID plans. Infrastructure improvements, developer incentives, park improvements, public amenity enhancements, and then your standard administrative budget costs. So what we are proposing is to update the authorized budget costs to reflect current development priorities for what's to be remaining to be developed in this TID boundary, which is not much land, as you're familiar. Drexel Town Square is quite developed. We do have the Barrett Low property just to the south of us that's undeveloped, and that is, for the most part, all that's left within this TID. We are revising the cost categories, which was mentioned on the previous slide, and then we're increasing the authorized budget cost by approximately $12 million. So I'm going to turn this over to Max to go into details.
Thank you. So what this chart is showing, you can see on the left-hand side are the expenditure categories for the TID district, whether that's infrastructure, developer incentives, land acquisition, administrative costs, and park improvements. You can see the current project plan budget's about $48.5 million. And then you can see in that next column what our actual and projected expenditures are. So you can see some of the infrastructure costs and developer incentive costs have been higher than what the original project plan budget had. So our estimate is $58 million. And then you can see in the 4th column the proposed project plan budget, which is coming in just at $60 million, give us a little bit of flexibility. Really, the one big thing we've added, as I mentioned, this district, its expenditure period lapses in April, so really in 8 months. We're not looking to make any large sizable investments at this time within the district. However, if we do have the opportunity to potentially acquire property before that expenditure period lapses, we want to be able to do that. So you can see that budget was increased to $2.65 million. And then this slide is just showing the TID's long-term cash flow analysis. So we have one of these for each of the districts. We look at what are the sources of funds in the district, what are the uses of funds in the district, and then look at what is the net income and then the fund balance. So essentially at the end of the day, what's sitting in the bank account. You can see, again, this is our largest district, so pretty sizable. Revenues well over $5 million. And you can see what that looks like until 2032 when this district would close. And again, the only real item we added was, you can see we have it plugged in for 2026, but realistically 2027, the $2.65 million for a potential land acquisition. So even if you were to add that cost, you can see at the bottom that fund balance as of year end is very strong and healthy, and by 2032 would close with a projected balance of $1.2 million. But most of this district, as you can see, there's a lot of debt service, so principal and interest payments really will be just collecting revenue for the next 5-6 years to pay off sizable investments made for Drexel Town Square.
So what's before you this evening is a consideration of a resolution. It states the bullet points that you see before you, which are also in your report. I don't need to read them verbatim, but they're the language that comes from the state statutes that the Common Council is declaring the project plan relates to promoting mixed-use development, that, you know, there's anticipated improvement of this area due to the TID. The project plan is feasible in conformance with the master plan. And then there are restrictions in the state statutes about how much of the land, the territory can be used to retail and residential, and that we are not changing the boundaries of this district. So that summarizes the resolutions before you. If you have any questions, we are happy to answer them.
Questions for Christie or Matt? Anything? Okay. All right, seeing none, motion on 8 then, please.
Clerk moves to adopt resolution number 12709-081826, approving project plan amendment number 4 for tax incremental district number 11, City of Oak Creek, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Haas. Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Item 9 is consideration of a resolution approving the project plan amendment number 2 for tax incremental district number 12, City of Oak Creek, Milwaukee County. Once again, Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council, Christy Lane, Community Development Director. This item before you is regarding an amendment number 2 for TID 12, which is the IKEA and Highgate area straddling over I-94 just north of Drexel Avenue. Again, this screenshot that you see before you was summarized by Max when he did the annual TID report. This is expected a termination date of 2036. It's a fund balance of roughly $1 million and GO debt of roughly $11 million. There are 5 active financial development agreements for this particular development. So there has been one amendment so far, and that was a large boundary amendment in 2019 that added the Highgate development on the east side of the freeway. What's before you this evening is amendment number 2, amending the budget and revising cost categories to include land acquisition, infrastructure improvements, developer incentives, and park improvements. We are not amending the boundary with this particular proposal tonight. So this amendment updates the authorized project costs to reflect actual and expected development priorities. It's expanding the eligible project costs, as was mentioned in that previous slide, and increases the authorized budget cost by roughly $31 million. So I will turn that over to Max to go into more details with the finances.
Yeah, so again, on the left-hand side, you'll see the expenditure categories from infrastructure improvements, developer incentives, land acquisition, admin cost, and park improvements. So you can see the current project plan budget is just over $29 million, and that was established in 2016. I think one thing just to inform the council about is when we did the first project plan amendment, it expanded the boundary, but it didn't expand the budget. So what we're actually seeing and what we anticipate for expenditures through the life of the district is closer to about $53 million. So you'll see infrastructure improvements, developer incentives going a little bit higher than budget. You'll see land acquisition costs in there. Again, this is a necessary amendment in order to facilitate that purchase of the Creekside Crossing property from Northwestern Mutual, and then $1 million for park improvements. So that fourth column shows you what the proposed project plan budget is, which is coming in at about $60 million, and it was designed a little bit higher to give us some flexibility, specifically on the infrastructure and developer incentive side. And then this is the TID's long-term cash flow. So you can see at the end of 2025, about 3.4 million in revenue and about 2.8 million in expenditures. So pretty strong net income there, about 500,000, fund balance of 1.1 million. And you can see that for 2026 and beyond, really the big items you're seeing for 2026 are proceeds and then expenditures related to the acquisition of the Creekside Crossing property. And then you'll see, starting in 27, 28, you know, as part of this exercise, we have to kind of plan and put in what we anticipate we see. So, you know, if there's going to be any infrastructure costs on the Creekside Crossing property or developer incentives, those are built in. You can see that, you know, in the first probably next 3 to 4 years, spending down that fund balance. So you do see in the middle of the district, it does show negative, but however, I'll just say that we're very conservative on what the estimates are for the values of the property. So we still feel very confident that as we get towards the end of the district, we'll be in a very good financial position. So this next slide is showing the latter years of this district. Again, it has a 10-year runway. So you can see that even with those additional investments in those properties, whether it's infrastructure, developer incentives, you can see returning to positive cash position in 2033 and then ultimately closing in 2037 with about $2.6 million of fund balance.
This resolution is the exact copy paste as the last resolution that you approved. The same bullet points with the declarations of the Common Council. And with that, we're happy to ask any questions.
Thank you. Once again, any questions from the council? Seeing none, motion.
Clerk moves to adopt resolution number 12710-081826, approving project plan amendment number 2 for tax incremental district number 12, City of Oak Creek, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz. Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas.
And item 10 is consideration of a resolution approving territory subtractions, additions, and project plan amendment number 1 for tax incremental district number 15, City of Oak Creek, Milwaukee County, and Wisconsin. Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. This amendment for you is a little bit different than the last two in that we're amending the boundary of this particular district in addition to eligible expenses. So this district includes 3 parcels in the Aldi building and the multi-tenant commercial building, as Max had stated when he did his annual TIF review. It's a small TIF district. There's only one financial development agreement, and it is termination. It has a termination date of 2046, and no GO debt and a very small fund balance. As Max had alluded to in the annual TID report, the city is capped from adopting new TIDs and also actually from amending boundaries because of that 12% rule. However, we did we had a little creative powwow with Baird, our financial advisors, and community is able to do some boundary amendments by adding and subtracting if you have a net negative. So with this particular TIF district, you got your original 3 parcels, the pink and the 2 teal. What we're proposing this evening is to remove the 2 parcels on the eastern end and then also adding 3 new parcels for an opportunity I'll explain in a minute. The Little League fields are owned by the city, and the water and sewer utility building obviously is owned by the city, so they have a taxable value of $0. And then you have 1 privately owned parcel, so that adds in, but it adds in less than what you take out with these 2 teal parcels for a net negative. So this is the net subtraction with a net change to the base value being negative. It's the only permissible territory amendment when a municipality exceeds that 12% threshold. But why are we doing this? We thought this would be a great opportunity, just thinking with the strategic action plan and the development that's taken place to the south. Drexel Town Square has obviously been very successful, and you have a municipal-owned building across the street that does not generate any tax revenue and perhaps is not being utilized to the best extent it could be today. So just forecasting possibly that maybe that could be transitioned to a private development that could bring tax revenue, and adding that in this TIF district would would obviously bring tax value to the TIF and to the commercial corridor that we have here at Drexel Avenue. So also we anticipate that someday, opportunity for this privately owned land could possibly be developed, and by adding that in the boundary, it'd be an opportunity for the city to, possibly provide some sort of incentive. It also would provide an opportunity for the city through the TIF district to, maybe provide some improvements to the Little League fields. Again, all just very hypothetical, but by adding these 3 parcels, it provides opportunities in the future for development within these 3 parcels. One thing to note is the TIF plan still has that half mile language. You can provide assistance within a half mile of every TIF boundary, and so that still would provide some opportunity if need be someday that we could financially assist the development of these 2 parcels. What we see here frequently are a lot of inquiries about quick service restaurants, drive-throughs, that sort of thing. They're developments that we wouldn't normally incentivize with a TIF district anyway. So again, another opportunity of a reasoning why we would take those 2 out. It looks like we're skipping some land here. A TIF boundary is required to be contiguous, but we did reach out to the Department of Revenue with the state. This is a waterway, so they actually are considering it contiguous because of the waterway, just like a road. So that's why it kind of looks like you're skipping, but we're not. They said to not include that particular parcel, that it is contiguous the way that we have it proposed before you. So what we're doing is we're expanding eligible project costs to include infrastructure improvements, developer incentives, park improvements, and your standard administrative expenses, and increasing the authorized project cost by about $4.8 million.
Thanks, Christy. So as you can see, this is a really small district. The other districts we talked about generating millions of dollars. This is about $130,000 a year. And that's primarily with that redevelopment that occurred on that Aldi property on the multi-tenant commercial. You can see, looking here, 2026, 2027, we do have small capital expenditures. That's the payoff of the PAYGO payment for the Aldi development. And then you can see after that, about $120 million, $120,000 of revenue approximately each year, and then positioning so that if we were approached from developers who want to either redevelop the utility administrative building or the other parcel on Howell, that we would have capacity to do so. So that is built in here as well. And then if you go to the next slide. And then you can this is just the back end of the district. So you can see by 2046, certainly be in a very strong position, $1.7 million on balance. So again, a lot of this is going to depend on what occurs within the district. Given that it's such a small district, probably not going to see sizable public investments unless you see other developments occur that generate tax increment on those other parcels.
And then this resolution is a little bit lengthier in the bullet points that the Common Council is declaring because we're dealing with a boundary amendment. Some additional bullet points, for instance, are that, with the addition and subtraction, we're still, we're not affecting that 12% limit, that we are improving an area that's likely to enhance real estate property value. Not less than 50% of the area is blighted, and so forth. But if you have any questions regarding this TIF amendment, Max and I are happy to answer them.
Great, thank you. Questions, comments? Andrew?
Thanks, Mayor. Just the statutory process to go through when you get to the public phase, it's 4 meetings in the end to have these tax increment districts amended. There's public hearings involved, but this team has been at this for months, strategizing for months. There is a lot of work that goes into pulling the data that informs the cash flows, The TID project plans that were before you, it touches the attorney's office, the clerk's office, the planning department, and so on and so forth. So this has been a tremendous lift by this team, specifically these two. I just want to acknowledge that we're getting an expert level of TIF administration out of our team here. And the cool thing is this has really set your team, our team, the executive leadership of the community up for economic development success in the future. We have a lot of flexibility, and we've done so in accordance with the community strategic plan. The one that comes to mind is really the highest and best use for the remaining strategic parcels that we have in the community. This enables the purchase of Creekside, allows this council to really guide what goes on there. And that's just one of several really strategic examples in these actions you're taking this evening. So I just wanted to acknowledge the team. It's been a long time coming, and it is a ton of work. So thank you for the lift.
Ken?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo Andrew's comments. The folks at the GRB meeting I attended earlier, I don't remember when it was. But anyway, they were highly complimentary of the extent and intricacy of our work here, the financial work we had, and very complimentary of the insight and foresight and some of the moves and maneuvers we've done with some of these districts. So good work, you guys, and obviously appreciated by the other taxing jurisdictions in our domain here. So.
Anyone else? No, and I agree. I touched on this before. The work that goes on here at City Hall and the expertise we have in this building and elsewhere throughout the city really has been paying a dividend to this city. It's well run. People always say to me, "Oh, Creek's really lucky they got this." Luck, nothing. It's preparation meeting opportunity, and these folks are preparing us for what may come in the future. So, thank you for the work. Appreciate it. There's nothing more. Motion.
Lork seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas. Lorick.
Aye.
And item 11 is consideration of approving a certified survey map, reconfiguring the properties located at 7502 and 7512 South Howell Avenue. Christie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. A visual is quite helpful for this particular certified survey map as the Sikh Temple on Howell Avenue. What they're proposing to do is there's an odd shaped two parcels that they own. It's an angled lot line right here in the yellow, and what they're proposing to do is to straighten it up so it's a straight north-south line in anticipation of someday perhaps adding on to the building. So they're just preparing themselves so that they can meet the backyard rear setback requirements if and when they ever add on to that building. They do meet all the requirements of the lot lines in this particular zoning district, and Plan Commission recommended approval.
Great, thank you, Christie. Questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, motion.
Lork seconds.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas. Aye. Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Great. Item 12 is consideration of a resolution approving the final plat for the Edgemont Estates subdivision. This is located at 10670 South Nicholson Road. Christie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. The item before you is a final subdivision plat for Edgemont Estates located on Nicholson Road. A final plat, we haven't had one in the city for many, many years, actually. So it's been quite some time since we've had some new single-family subdivisions come to closure. And so this item before you has actually had a lengthy approval process. They were starting the construction, and the state statute states that between the time of approval from the subdivision preliminary plat to final plat, it can't exceed 36 months. But they exceeded 36 months, so we had to start from scratch. A preliminary plat went back to Plan Commission earlier this year, and they have met substantial compliance with the construction, and this is for the development of 14 single-family lots. And so before the common council is final plat. Just to note that I do anticipate a few easements for a tree preservation easement and some other engineering easements to come before the common council on the September 1st agenda. We do want that actual particular easement document noted on the final plat because that makes it easier to find when doing title search in the future. So we will have a few more items that you'll see before you, but the final plat is in substantial compliance and the Plan Commission recommended approval.
Right, thank you, Christie. Questions on Edgemont Estates?
Christie, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Ken.
Christie, here in our map, you may know too, your knowledge is all the infrastructure in place and tested and accepted?
All the infrastructure within the development is. We are working right now with the contractor to fix up Elm. They do have some minor work left to do, but we're working with them and been in contact with the contractor as of today, this afternoon. We're scheduling that out.
There was a lot of work in front of one.
Yes, that's where it's going to take place.
Okay.
Yeah, anything further? Seeing none, motion?
I'll move to approve resolution 12716-081826, approving the final plat for Edgemont Estate subdivision located at 10670 South Nicholson Road.
A second.
Roll call?
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz.
Aye.
Marshall. Aye.
Item 13 is engineering, and it's consideration of a resolution approving the Creek 2 spec building infrastructure development agreement. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor, Common Council, Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. Before you is that resolution approving the infrastructure agreement with Creek 2 spec building. This development agreement is only for public water main. That is the only asset that is actually changing within the development itself. It's nothing more than a small relocation, actually, to facilitate the development. We're working through easement documentation right now with the developer and the utility. We do plan on that being accomplished earlier this, or a little bit later this year. Other than that, everything is pretty much straightforward. All the work within the development itself is on private land, and no other public infrastructure is being installed. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Questions for Matt? Okay, seeing none, motion?
I'll move to approve resolution 12717-081826, approving the Creek 2 spec building infrastructure development agreement.
Marshall, second.
Roll call?
Alderwoman Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Item 14 is consideration of a resolution approving a jurisdictional transfer 388 pertaining to West Elm Road. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. Before you is that jurisdictional transfer. This was actually brought forward to us by Wisconsin Department of Transportation. Currently, we are being financed through our general transportation aid of approximately about $1,400. It's really about $2,000 a mile. This is approximately 0.47 miles. Currently, we don't plow it. We don't maintain it. It's all been handled by the department in Milwaukee County through their agreements. In reality, this is a section of road from 27th Street to I-41. Most of the infrastructure within it, being traffic signals and everything is being proposed under Buc-ee's, will be under the jurisdictional rights of Wisconsin Department of Transportation. So it very much limits our ability or any ownership within Elm. This to me seems to be a reasonable and very prudent way to do this, give this to the state. Like I said in here, we'll lose or decrease approximately $1,400 a year in our general transportation funds, but I think that's a small price to pay in regards to maintenance of Elm Road, which will be significant. Any development on the north side or any other development on Elm will still be under the jurisdiction of the department because of traffic impact analysis. They'll still have that ability to designate where openings will be and access to those roads. The agreement also still allows that name change that is specifically labeled within this agreement, still having that name change from Elm Road to Bucky's Boulevard in the future. So I think all of our bases are covered on here. I think it's a proper thing to do, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions for Matt?
So Matt, just to clarify on the access for the northern parcel, so state had control of that no matter which way this was coming down, right?
Correct. Yeah, so that would be handled through another traffic impact analysis. My best guess at this would be at the intersection that's signalized. That would be the appropriate way to handle traffic entering that parcel. And there'll probably be one more access off of 27th that will primarily be right in, right out.
No matter what the state was controlling.
That is correct.
Okay.
Others? Questions? Comments? Seeing no discussion, motion?
So move to approve resolution 12718-081826 approving jurisdictional transfer 388 pertaining to West Elm Road.
Marshall will second.
Roll call?
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz. Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
And item 15 is consideration of a resolution approving the extended working hours to Super Excavators, Inc. for the MMSD Oak Creek Southwest MIS Extension Project.
Thank you, Mayor. Before you is that resolution approving extended work hours. Under our municipal code, it generally provides the city engineer the ability to provide extended work hours, but it's on a very limited case. In my interpretation of the code, it's for like overnight for saw cutting or some minor things. What the request here from Super Excavation or Super Excavators is for an extended period of time of the entire project, but it would be limited to 12 to 30 days, depending on when their micro tunneling would happen. The extended hours would be only for that operation itself. So any other operations outside of micro tunneling, they would still do during normal work hours within the municipal code. One of the reasons, and it was provided to you in the packet, when they're micro tunneling and they're proceeding from one shaft to the next, if they are required to stop by our code, it can cause some significant friction in their mining operations per se, which would at times could stop the actual machine, the micro tunneler, to where they would actually have to do a retrieving shaft. So all operations would stop. They'd have to create another shaft to retrieve their equipment. This would cause significant delays. There'd be other effects to the residents, obviously noise throughout the day versus being able to just do the micro tunneling. There are several things within here in regards to items that would be allowed to happen during that micro tunneling. On top, they have a small separation plant, a power plant, basically light plant, and generators that would be required to facilitate that operation. They did say within the request that their decibels were very minor, 50 to 60, sometimes 70, depending on when it would be, which would be at the property line, is what they typically have found. We still believe that the code still should be met. I think there are some ways to achieve that. I think this resolution gives us that ability to still keep it within that 55 at a residential property line and then 65 at industrial. This still would meet the intent of our code other than the extended work hours. Obviously, within the resolution too, it also, the council does give myself the authority, the city engineer authority, to revoke this permit if they do not follow within those standards or it becomes troublesome or things that we continue to get complaints on. But we would obviously bring that back and have those discussions if that occurred. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'm not sure I can answer them all, but I believe Super Western representative is also, or Super X representative is also here if you had other questions.
Thank you, Matt. Questions from the council? Greg?
So if I heard you correctly, even with our approval on this, they would still be required to meet code for noise and light pollution in the evening hours? Is that
Within the resolution, yes. That's how
Okay.
we have it labeled.
And then this, I don't remember the word, the tunneling that they're doing at night. Do you know what that, is it extra loud or is it causing vibrations in the ground or anything that would be nuisance?
From everything that they provided, it wouldn't. It's about 80 feet deep. So there'll actually be a small machine. I believe it's a 30-inch to a 40-some inch, diameter tunneling machine, but it's 80 feet below ground.
Oh, okay.
So the vibrations, they said, you wouldn't even feel them on
Okay.
Earth. But the whole point is to get that, and then obviously as the dirt's being done, there would be some, separation plant and operations on top. The light packs, they probably could be directed away from the residential areas. I'm sure we can work with them on shields and stuff, but that is mainly for them to provide the light and ability for any manpower on top to have the visibility.
Thanks.
That's what they've provided to us, 12 to 30 days. Obviously, they'll start, I have a diagram up on top, but they'll start shaft 18, which is in the blue square. It's actually where they go start their mining operations, and then they head to the north to shaft 17, which is in Oakwood. And they'll come back, and then they'll head south. So the two blue squares are where they're basically the generators and other items would be put during those operations.
Thanks, Mayor. Matt, obviously you're well aware of my sentiments on this is, a little perturbed the fact that this is obviously not a secret when this project started, that it's unfortunate it wasn't included in probably earlier discussions, but here and there. Obviously, we talked about management of the light situation, make sure that the residents there, although at some point they may be south of the residential area, so that might not be an issue, but vibration and noise control obviously be an issue, so hopefully we'll have good oversight of that whole process and make sure the residents are affected there in that St. John's neighborhood. So appreciate that. So, but like I said, it is irritating the fact this wasn't taken care of first.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay, I will call for a motion.
Gail will move to approve resolution 12719-081826 approving extended working hours to Super Excavators Inc. for the MMSD Oak Creek Southwest MIS Extension Project.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas. Lorick.
Aye.
Item 16 is consideration of a resolution accepting the land donation at the property located at 2500 West Drexel Avenue from OC Land Holdings LLC.
Thank you, Mayor. Before you is that resolution for accepting that land donation through quitclaim deed. This donation satisfies our traffic impact analysis and the new traffic signals that were awarded to both Costco and the Prairie Development from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. One of the requirements in order to have the traffic signals was to provide public right-of-way on the east and west portions of that traffic signal. This satisfies that and the need of being able to implement those signals and maintain those. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. It's pretty straightforward.
Questions for Matt? Greg?
I was just looking at the exhibit in here. Where exactly is this on?
So this would be directly north of Drexel Avenue. It would be the first full median break on 27th Street. So it'd be on the north side of the Costco building that's being currently built
Oh, along 27th
along
Street.
27th Street, yes.
That's directly on the east side of 27th Street.
Yes, this right away, it would be into the north, well, it's part of the parcel on the north east quadrant of Drexel and 27th.
When is this transfer, this land donation, when is it actually noted to be effective? Do you know?
When would it be effective?
Immediately?
There might be some small corrections. Melissa has not had the ability, obviously she was off last week, but some minor corrections if needed. But other than that, I think we would be able to proceed relatively quick.
Anything else? Okay, motion.
Clerk moves to adopt resolution number 12720-081826, accepting the land donation at the property located at 2500 West Drexel Avenue from OC Land Holdings LLC.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Item 17 is the License Committee. I'll turn that over to Alderman Ritz.
Mayor, included in your packet is a license committee report. Please look it over and let me know if you have any questions. Hearing no questions, Rich moves to approve the various license requests as listed on the license.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Hess.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Item 18 is consideration to approve a motion for the July 29th, 2026 vendor summary report in the amount of $455,684.54. You have your packet. Please take a look. If there are any questions, please take the floor. Satisfied? There's no discussion? Motion?
Marshall move to approve the July 29th, 2026 vendor summary report in the total of $455,684.54.
Hess seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
And item 19 is consideration of a motion to approve the August 12th, 2026 vendor summary report in the amount of $1,840,548.65. And once again, if you have any questions in your packet, please take the floor. There's no questions or discussion? Motion.
Marshall move to approve the August 12th, 2026 vendor summary report in the total of $1,840,548.65.
Hess seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
And item 20 is consideration of a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, to discuss the following. Section .19.85, Sub 1, Sub E, Wisconsin Stat, to deliberate and consider possible terms and provisions of a potential amendment to the Finance Development Agreement between the City of Oak Creek and OC 27 LLC relating to the potential commercial and residential development for market competition and bargaining reasons, and the investing of public funds that includes the property consisting of approximately 115 acres north of West Drexel Avenue and east of South 27th Street.
Thank you, Mayor. Gail moves to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, to discuss the following. A, Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub B, to deliberate and consider possible terms and provisions of a potential amendment to the Finance Development Agreement between the City of Oak Creek and OC 27 LLC relating to potential commercial and residential development for market competition and bargaining reasons and the investing of public funds that includes property consisting of approximately 115 acres north of West Drexel Avenue and east of South 27th Street.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Okay, we will now convene into closed session, and we will return at its conclusion. Thanks. We will now consider a motion to reconvene into open session.
Thank you, Mayor. Garrell moves to reconvene in open session.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Hess. Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
And item 22 is consideration to take a motion if needed. There is none at this time, I believe, which will bring us up to adjournment. So what's happening in Oak Creek this weekend? Beer garden, right?
Nice.
Yeah, so Drexel Town Square. Weather's supposed to be nice. Enjoy some of the last unfortunate weekends of the summer. It's winding down. Kids start school here at the end of August already. Holy smokes. I don't know where the summer went. But anyways, farmers market's continuing. Lots of produce out there last weekend, so get out there. If there's no further business, I'll call for adjournment.
Torque moves to adjourn.
Seconds.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Oh.
Marshall. Aye. Gale.